and welcome to the Why of It All. This is episode 23. Is that what we said?
23.
And we are really excited. We have a topic that we're going to talk about today that's been on our list of topics for a while. So I'm glad we're finally getting to it. The topic that we're going to be talking about today is divine appointments. We've all had those moments. Maybe it was a stranger who said the perfect words, a crisis that rerouted your entire path, or a quiet nudge that led you to the right place at the right time. Some people call it coincidence. We call it a divine appointment. In today's episode, we're diving into those uncanny, soul-stirring, sometimes uncomfortable moments that feel like more than chance. The ones that shape us, wake us up, crack us open, or steer us back to something higher. So whether you call it God or the universe or soul contracts or simply right place, right time, we're exploring what it means to be met by life on purpose.
And we found a great definition for a divine appointment. So a divine appointment is a moment, encounter, or experience that feels intentionally placed in your path by a higher power, designed to awaken, redirect, or align you with your greater purpose.
Yeah, so, I love that.
I do too.
And there's probably different definitions for it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure different people will define it in different ways, but I thought that was really, I love that. I love how succinct that is.
But this topic came up organically when we were just talking, having a conversation. And this was months ago when we first started the podcast. And we were thinking of topics, and this just came up very organically. And I'm glad we're finally doing it.
Me too. Me too.
Let's dig in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So a couple of things that we were talking about as we were doing our show prep, like what are the different types of divine appointments? And some of them might be the people who walk into your life at just the right time. Either it's just an instant connection, or maybe it's a person who shows up in your life to trigger healing within you, right? Like oftentimes we think of divine appointments as this very yummy, juicy thing, right? And the energy of it is so profound and intense. But what if divine appointments were also the people who show up in our lives and trigger the hell out of us?
You're right. When I typically think about it, I think of it as a positive, but not that we can't turn the negative into positive.
I think we're going to talk about it from the flip side of that too, for sure.
We are.
For sure. So let's start with let's go a little deeper for you on what does a divine appointment feel like to you?
For me, in the moment, when I think about those moments, it feels like energy is aligned. So whoever the person, place, or thing that is happening, it's like my vibration and my energy rises. So it climbs up, and it's a feeling. I don't know
how. It's a feeling.
Yeah. And if you're not, and we talked about this a little bit, if you're not in touch with your feelings, you might miss these divine appointments, right? Don't you feel like, I feel like if you're not in touch with your feelings and being able to discern certain things that come up when you feel that vibrational energy with another human, with a certain situation, something that's going on, maybe a big thing in your life that you're thinking about doing, I feel like the energy is elevated.
Absolutely. Intuition has a lot to do with that too. For people like us who are very in tune to our intuition, you can feel the contrast between everyday normal moments and the synchronicity.
Yes.
Like the absolute, like moment altering aha of the synchronicity where, your hair stands on end in the most extreme examples, or you just feel the intensity of the rightness of this experience.
Well, what's the phrase? Like when it sits right with your soul, right? You hear that phrase a lot. I don't know who coined that. But
I've never heard that actually, but
when
I like it.
Sits right with your soul. And I think you can tell, right? The adverse, when it doesn't sit right with your soul, right? What does that feel like? So it's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
And these are obviously the examples we're talking about when it is those juicy moments where you have the right place, right time experience, or you meet someone who says just the right thing, or you have that intensity of vibrational alignment with somebody, and both of you are like spazzing out about how amazing this encounter is, and oh my God, I'm so happy I met, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And this happens.
Or you're looking for something, or looking for there's something you desire in your life, and somebody shows up at exactly the right moment to present the thing to you.
That's exactly what it is. Exactly.
It feels like it's the meant to be moments. It's the meant to be moments.
It's the meant to be. It's the synchronicities, right?
Yeah.
That kind of happen.
But on the flip side of that, meant to be moments can also be things that don't feel good. In terms of the breakdowns, the difficult relationships, the experiences that in hindsight most often we recognize as it had to be this way. I needed to go through this experience in order to
So true.
the ways that universe, God, your soul orchestrates even the difficult experiences that we talk about in this show, about how nothing is happening to me, everything is happening for me. Those can be divine appointments too, even though they're unpleasant when you're in the middle of them. And oftentimes you only see the gift and the blessing and the opportunity of it in hindsight.
And also, what those moments are meant to teach us, right? Like highlighting maybe those times when we've been triggered by a human, or big things that happen in your life, career change. And we're going to talk about our own experiences with this, but that's exactly what we're talking about, like the moments that are meant to teach us, and recognizing that, listening to your intuition, and then being able to look at that as a lesson or a divine appointment. I think everybody has maybe a different definition of divine appointment. And so,
but if you've ever had one, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we tell the story of how we met?
Yeah. You want to start with that?
Yeah.
And we may have touched on it in an episode before.
We have, but there's probably a bunch of new listeners who haven't heard it before. So you jump in anytime, okay?
Yeah.
In case I missed something.
For sure. Start at the beginning.
This would have been what? 25-ish years ago?
I think it's even more than that, Melanie.
I know. We don't math
real well. Both of us together, but as you'll hear in our
both
story,
of us together can accomplish mathy things.
Yes.
So the day we met, I was just out of high school. I was in my first semester of working on my undergrad. And as part of the requirements of that, I was required to take a math class. But me being me, I did everything I could do to avoid college algebra, which just no thank you. Kill me.
I would rather die.
So we took a statistics class. We had never met. And I remember that first day of class, the professor is doing that annoying thing where they make everybody go around the room and tell something interesting about themselves or introduce themselves to the class, and everybody's like, oh, I hate this.
Yes.
You were on the opposite side of the room from me. And you started first. I'm Gina. And Gina pops up and she's like, I'm Gina. I'm a dental assistant. Da, 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 da. And here I am on the opposite side of the class going last.
Yes.
And in my head, I'm like, I'm Melanie. I'm a dental assistant. But I had to wait for it to go all the way up and down the rows to get all the way to me until I did exactly that. I stood up and I went, hi, Gina. I'm a dental assistant. And did we meet up after class or something?
I don't know. Did we exchange numbers that day?
We had
and
to
just hey, you want to be study partners? That is how Melanie and I started. We met in college and we decided to be study partners. I think it started just organically like that. I think we
connected after class.
We did.
That was so fun.
Because we were probably like, what dental practice do you work for? What dental practice? We figured out where we worked. And so we just hit it off and exchanged numbers.
And neither one of us with a whole math molecule in our bodies somehow combined our portion of a math molecule into a whole math molecule. And she and I freaking crushed that statistics class.
We made an A.
We aced it.
We aced it.
Because we had such intense connection and we were studying together every week. And
we would go to this cute coffee shop called Spider House. And it was Guadalupe or 38th or something.
Something like that.
Is it still there?
I don't know. But this was part of our routine, and we just loved spending time together.
We did.
And so we lifted each other up through that experience, through that class.
We did.
And forged a lifelong friendship.
Yes. And so
it was beautiful.
So the ultimate divine appointment for the why of it all is how we met.
How we met.
It was
and
divine.
then
that was divine.
God, you could even I'll get a little stretchy here and consider that our entire friendship over these decades has been a divinely orchestrated thing, because the two of us have always had, we've talked about this in the show before, we've had our life experiences such that the emotional, the circumstances might have been different, but the emotional reactions to our circumstances have always been parallel. Like, we're going through the same emotional experiences of differing circumstances simultaneously. And here we are now having very similar reference points in life, at least in terms of the healing journeys we've gone through.
Yeah, we have.
And now having this show together that we felt like in the moment where you sparked the idea and I grabbed hold of it and we created this podcast together, that itself was a profound, divinely inspired moment.
It was. And I think back about the years of our friendship, you know, there were years where Melanie lived states away. There were years that, you know, you were doing your own thing. There were years that I was married and had a little family, you know, of my own. And so there were times during our friendship where there maybe wasn't a lot of communication all the time, not like it is now, right? Because we're in business together. But I think that we still were divinely like brought back together, right? Because when you were in Arizona and then you came back, I mean, we had a decision to make. Were we going to, like, you know, get in close contact again or not? And we just did. We just gravitated towards each other when you came back and you moved back to Austin. I was so happy personally when her and her husband decided to move back. But, you know, just we've been through so much. And so, yes, this whole friendship has been divinely. Don't you feel like also, and this word like soul contract, don't you think do you see us as having a soul contract?
I believe in that. It's not something that it's not something that I need to fully understand or dig down deep into. And I think some people go really deep into that, into the nitty gritty, and claim to have perfect explanations for how all of that works. And maybe they're right. Maybe they've tuned in to source consciousness, God, and gotten information, but whatever. I don't need to necessarily go there. But it feels, to me, my personal belief is that we do have some choice and orchestration prior to embodiment of what it is that we're coming into this life to explore, to grow into, to expand into, who we have interactions with, who our parents are, who our friends are, who we're going to have relationships with. Yeah. I think it has to do with each of these connections and relationships we have affects us in different ways, stimulates certain feelings and emotions, and then especially in the uncomfortable ones will trigger the emotional experiences that give us the option to heal the wounds and to grow in certain ways. And we still have free will. Of course. And many people out there, they get the triggers and they just ignore it completely. They don't take the bounce. Yeah. But I think that our souls design our experiences ahead of time in order to give us those opportunities.
And there's also divine appointments that are not so like long lasting per se, like Melanie and I's relationship. And so there's this one example, she's got an example too, but like it can be something as little, and this has happened to me multiple times in my life, but the most recent one that I can think of is that I was driving to Austin, I don't think to podcast, but maybe just to visit friends, I don't remember. This was maybe a year ago. And I'm driving in and I stopped to go to the restroom. Well, I think my mind was like on something else. I was like, you're getting out of the car, you got to go in, use the restroom, get a snack and get back on the road. And I was getting some trash out of my car to throw it in the trash can at the front of the gas station and then walk in and do my thing and come out. And for some reason I wasn't thinking and I threw my trash, but my keys were in the same hand that the trash was in, and I threw my keys in the trash.
Did you know that you did that?
Right away. No. I mean, like I said, I don't know if I was like worked up or maybe I'd gotten off the phone and had a difficult conversation. Like I don't remember that. I normally would not do something like that. And as soon as I let go, I was like, shit. Damn. Okay, so think about how gross a gas station trash can is. I remember it was.
I don't like digging through my own trash at home when it's all my stuff.
Or like putting your hand in the what is it? The disposal.
Garbage disposal. Ew.
No, I can't. So I am standing there. It literally. I watched myself do it, and I was like, And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I didn't know what to do. I was literally standing there just frozen. Like, am I going to have to really fucking undo the top of this thing and like forge through with my bare hands? I don't have any plastic gloves or anything in that, you know? And so I guess there was a man that was across the sidewalk at the gas on the opposite side of the gas station. I guess he saw just the sheer look of terror on my face, and and maybe he saw the whole thing happen. I don't remember, but all I can tell you is that it wasn't a minute after this happened to me, and I'm standing there staring at the thing, that this man walks over to me and he's like, "Do you need help, ma'am?" And I'm like, it's like on the verge of crying. I'm like, "Sir, I dropped my keys," and he, without even, he didn't work there. He was just passing by. Again, divine appointment, if you ask me. Opens up the top of the trash can, digs his hands, his bare. I mean, it was, and it just happened to be that my key was slid in between, like the trash bag and the trash can. Anyway,
oh, thank God.
It took a while though for him to rummage and to find my keys, but he found my keys. And I didn't know how to say thank. I mean, it's like, how do you say thank you? Does not express the amount of gratitude that I have for this stranger at this moment. And I literally went to the bathroom, really just real. And of course, I went to him. I was like, "Oh my God, sir, thank you so much. Like, you have no idea what a blessing you were to me." But I think I even got back in the car and like teared up a little bit, like, oh, so just the humanity, just like, yeah. And I was like, immediately, I was like, thank you, God. Like, just thank you for looking after me, because anyway, that was just my little example, the one that came to mind.
Well, and
there's so many more too.
What's so marvelous to me about that is the fact that it was him. It was obviously a man who operates from chivalry. He saw a damsel in distress, and he came to your rescue. He did sound like he hesitated for a moment. So like the way that God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, orchestrated that experience. It was this particular man with his particular value systems that was in exactly the right place and paying close enough attention to have witnessed what happened, and then had the inner guidance and the impulse from his own heart to come rescue you in that moment. It could have been somebody else. It could have been somebody on their phone not paying attention standing in that spot. It could have been someone who is just as averse to digging through garbage as you are. Right. Wasn't going to offer assistance. And to me, what divine appointments come down to is alignment.
It is.
It's alignment. And it's alignment in terms of, what are you broadcasting? Are you broadcasting, no one helps? I'm always on my own. Nobody is here to help me. And so that's the life experience you have. Or are you broadcasting out there that I am loved and supported? I am protected. People help me when I need help. It's like, what are you broadcasting? And what state of mind were you in the moment where you could be a magnet for that kind of experience? Right. Really cool.
Isn't that cool?
I have a really great stranger divine appointment story that I just love so much.
Yes, tell your story.
And I don't even know if I told you this. Maybe I did. So it was months ago. It was some point after we did one of our grief episodes.
Okay.
And it was within a day or two of that episode being recorded. And I took Gary the cat out on a hike. And he wears a little harness, and I take him out on a leash, and he goes hiking with me. At the Why of It All, we are passionate about healing mind, spirit, and body. And that's why we're proud to be sponsored by a brand whose passion for wellness runs as deep as ours, Tulip Blooms. Tulip Blooms is a family-owned American small business that crafts premium skincare products with intention, purity, and so much heart. Today we want to highlight one of their original flagship products, Rainfall, a luxurious, lightweight face and body lotion that feels like a soft summer rain for your skin. Made with soothing aloe vera and a powerhouse blend of cold-pressed botanical oils like jojoba, rosehip, and evening primrose. Rainfall quenches thirsty skin, delivering lasting hydration with zero greasiness. Rainfall is gentle enough for the face nourishing enough for the body, and the perfect daily go-to, especially after sun exposure when your skin craves extra care. Choose from calming scents like almond, lavender, or our favorite, rose geranium, or go fragrance-free. And with both full-size and travel-size options, your glow can go wherever you do. This isn't mass-produced skincare. It's handmade in small batches by real people who put real love into every bottle. Tulip Blooms offers more than just rainfall, too. Think decadent body butters, facial serums, artisan soaps, and even beard oil for the guys. Whether you're looking to hydrate, heal, or just show your body a little more love, Tulip Bloom delivers high-vibe care you can feel good about because it's skincare rooted in nature, backed by integrity, and made with intention. Visit tulipblooms.shop and use our exclusive promo code HEAL, that's HEAL, at checkout for 10% off your order. And I was just in the beginning of this hike, and Gary has a tendency, he's a cat, he's not a dog, so he doesn't like go plowing down the trail with any sort of speed. It takes like 30 minutes to go 15 feet. And so we were there, and the cat's sniffing around and doing cat things on a hiking trail. And this woman comes around the trail in our direction. Well, normally he gets really freaked out when other people are on the trail, and he poofs up and he tries to climb my leg and he wants me to hold him. And so I did. I picked him up, and I immediately noticed something very odd. He didn't actually freak out. Like, I picked him up. He saw the woman coming, but he didn't freak out in the way he normally freaks out. I just instinctually picked him up because I thought he would. And this woman is coming by, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, what a beautiful kitty. He's so sweet. Can I pet him?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think he'll be all right if you pet him." Because he normally at this point, he's poofed up and he's growling and he's like
hissing.
He's not hissing, but he'll growl to be like, "I'm not comfortable with this." Or he's like climbing my shoulder like this and pulling my hair and all that. But he wasn't freaking out at all, which I thought was odd. So I was like, "Yeah, you can pet him." And not only did this woman pet him and he was fine, but then he pretty much indicated like, "I'm ready for you to put me down right now," which was so not like him when there's another person standing there. So he's on the ground and he's rubbing around, and then this woman starts talking to me. And she's asking about the cat on the hiking trail. She's asking if I have any other pets. And then I'm reciprocating. Do you have a cat or something? Like, I was trying to figure out why this lady was so interested in talking to me. Like, she didn't want to just say thank you and move on with her life. Turns out she had a dog that was her hiking buddy for like 12 or 13 years.
I do remember
who just passed away the week before. And as we're having this conversation, I can feel and see the grief welling up within her. And she tells me this is the first time she has been back on this trail without her dog. And for some reason, my presence there with the cat and the cat liking her, and I had told her, this is very strange. He doesn't act like this with normal strangers out on the hiking trail. It's very odd that he's so comfortable with you. She bursts into tears. She was like, "That just means so much to me." And I don't know why it meant so much to her, but for some reason it did.
It did.
And she starts telling me the story of her dog that passed away. And she starts telling me about their journey and how they hiked together for so long. I shared with her about my old dog who had passed away 5 years ago, who was my hiking buddy for a decade. And so I totally understood. I had the reference points for how meaningful it was for her to be out on the trail for the first time without her hiking buddy. Because I lived through that when my dog passed away. And then because we had just done the grief episode, I had all of this grief-related information on the tip of my tongue, and it all just kept pouring out. And this poor woman she was grief crying as a relief, but she was also happy crying because I could tell she felt heard and she felt understood. And most importantly, she didn't feel judged. I was the exact right person to be there for her in that moment, to hear what she needed to express and to be the non-judgmental holding space presence for her to be able to release the grief in that moment. That's a freaking divine appointment if I've ever heard one.
That is a divine appointment. 150%. There's no mistaking that. And just the feeling that both of y'all got, right? Like how you did you right away, like right after you met her, or were you in the moment when you talked to her, you're like, this is the divine appointment? And did you think it after, or did
I knew it. I knew it immediately.
Immediately.
Once the emotion started coming out and I could feel the energetic resonance, I knew it immediately that that's what it was.
And it's the energy, isn't it? That it gives off, that you're attuned to, when you can like make that distinction. Oh wow.
I felt like I was there. I felt like I was meant to be there in that moment to facilitate step one of her grieving process. I told her about our show. She wanted a hug before we parted ways, and it wasn't just like a nice to meet you. It was like the sweet old one. And if you're I told her about our show. And listen, I can't remember your name, but you were the sweetest, most beautiful soul. And if you're watching this show, our encounter made an impact on me. It did. I'm still talking about it, obviously, months later.
It's a great story. Yeah. It's a great story. And I didn't get the gentleman's name at the gas station, but I did profusely thank him and just told him he was an angel, because he was. He just plopped right down from heaven and helped me.
Amazing.
So Melanie, when was the last time you followed a nudge? Like a nudge from the universe, and it led to something unexpected but beautiful. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. And I have told this story. I'll keep it brief this time. I've told this story on the podcast before, but it was the moment that I met Courtney Jacobs, who has been on our show. I can't remember what episode it was, but it was the brain rewiring episode. It was the moment I met her, and Courtney Jacobs being, after a decade of seeing many, many, many different healthcare providers, all of whom I think were supportive of me in some way or another, but their solutions to the chronic pain that I was experiencing didn't get me anywhere. But she was the first practitioner who finally had the right key for my unique situation.
Correct.
And the way that happened was I got invited to an event that I felt resistance to going to. I didn't want to go. I didn't feel like it was going to be useful for me. And I kept hearing that inner guidance, that inner nudge going, you need to go to this thing. You need to go to this thing. And my logical thinking mind was like, no, I don't want to go. It's going to be boring. I'm already going to know everything there. It was like a workshop on gut health.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's going to be a waste of my time. I don't want to go. But that nudge, that inner guidance nudge, that divine nudge wouldn't let up. And finally, it was literally a situation of like, I don't want to do this, but that nudge won't shut up. So I'm going to go. But I'm not expecting much. And when I got there, it was her. It was the first time I met her. And after the workshop was over, I went over and talked to her. And with very few words and just a couple of little statements about my condition, I could tell instantly that she was the person who had the solution for me. I could tell by the way she responded. I could tell by her energy and her confidence. And the things that she said that made all the inner bells go off and the hair on my arms stand up, that she understood me. She was very, very clear of what was causing the issue. And this would be very easy and you would get results very quickly. And
everything she said resonated with you.
Everything. She ended up facilitating the greatest physical transformation for me out of everybody else I saw. Had I ignored that nudge, or let the voice in the head of, it's going to be boring, I'm already going to know everything at this workshop, it's, this is for lay people who don't have a medical background. Like if I had listened to the voice in the head and ignored the inner guidance nudge, where would I be today?
Who knows?
But that to me, divine appointment.
150%. I think a story I have, and I say it's the last time, but I think of where I'm at right now and how many changes I've been through just in this year, and so we're only halfway through. But another example for me of a divine appointment and something that led to this, something that was unexpected. I did not plan to change careers at 49. I was so settled in what I was doing, and I could do it with my eyes closed. And 3 years ago, when my father died, I hadn't had the need to go to a financial advisor's office, but went to my mother and father's financial advisor to handle some estate stuff and help my mom just kind of go through that process. And 3 years ago was when I met my future boss, but I didn't know it then. And we hit it off. I came in, my father had only been gone maybe 2 weeks, so I was still in the throes of the grief, heavy, 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 hard. And I went in, and as soon as we sat down, I just started bawling. She came in and she introduced herself and she sat down, and just immediately she was just like, "I'm sorry about your dad." And I just like, at that time it was very sensitive from somebody to say, "I'm sorry about your father, my condolences." Everything was so emotionally charged with the grief. It was so palpable at that point. And I think when she said that, I think that's what happened. And I just,
yeah. You're like, "Hi, nice to meet you." Wah.
And then she started crying too. So because she's a daddy's girl too, and I didn't realize that until a little later. And she starts crying, and my mom is just like looking at both of us like, "All right, girls, get it together. We're here to talk about money and like planning and all this stuff." And I remember feeling some type of way about her when I first met her. And I didn't know if we'd end up being friends or whatever. And then eventually, that after that meeting, I didn't really see her much. And then she started she was friends with a hygienist that I worked with. And so the hygienist, like personal friends, and then the hygienist said, "Come see our dentist, the dentist that I work for." And so she started to become a patient. And so then I would see her then every 6 months for her cleaning. She started doing braces. And anyway, it wasn't until this last year where that divine appointment with her really came to fruition, because she offered me a job. She, out of the blue in this spring, headhunted me and sent me this job description, was like, "You're the first person I thought of when I thought of this job. My girl is leaving. She's been here 6 years with me. She'd never done a new hire. And she's like, every time I come into the dental office, you're smiling, you're polite, you're kind, you're courteous. I see the relationships you've built with all your patients. And, I need somebody like that." And anyway, so that kind of divine appointment was like amazing, because it took several years for that kind of, and now I work with her, and she's like now become one of my closest friends and confidants. And, I look forward, and not that I didn't look forward to going to my other job, but it's just, I've pushed myself beyond the boundaries of that career, and then decided to make this huge career move. And it's just, the whole time it's felt in alignment. And not that there weren't hard moments to get through, and the screening process and all that stuff to be with this firm. It was daunting, but it's ended up being one of the most wonderful things, aside from starting the podcast this year, that I've done. So anyway, that was just that was an example, one of my examples of a divine appointment.
I like how, what we're talking about is the different types of divine appointments, where sometimes it seems like there's a divine appointment where we are the beneficiaries of that. And sometimes the divine appointment is us being something for someone else. Saying, in the case of the woman I ran into on the trail, it's being there to say exactly what she needed to hear, or be the loving presence for whatever it is that she needed to feel. It's interesting how it goes both ways. And I don't know that everybody out there walks around being aware of those moments. Like, maybe you and I are just hyper aware of that kind of stuff, since we do focus a lot on intuition and guidance and all of that. And then there's the ones where it's completely mutual. Like, I have a good friend, Audrey. Hi, Audrey, if you're watching. Shout out to Audrey. Audrey and I met, and I'm sure this is really probably similar to how you and I met, of like, it's one of these things where you meet someone and it's instantaneous. Like, within 30 seconds of meeting my friend Audrey, we were literally talking about it. "Oh my God, this is a divine appointment. We're having it right now." Yes. Where you just know that the circumstances that brought you together with someone, it's so intense, and the connection is instantaneously so profound. And the resonance and the alignment is so spot on that both of you become mutually aware of how profound the moment is in that divine appointment.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
150%. We love this description of when you're the messenger in a divine appointment for somebody else, but I'm going to get my little glasses on.
Yeah, we were looking at things earlier and we loved this.
Yes. Sometimes we think divine appointments are all about what we receive, but often we are the appointment in someone else's story, just like we were describing. Most of the time, we don't even know the impact we've had. That's part of the beauty. It's not ego-driven, it's spirit-led. This is where faith and intuition play a role. Sometimes you're nudged to reach out to someone, send a message, or share something vulnerable, and you have no idea why until later. It teaches us to stay available and follow the nudge, even when it doesn't make logical sense. So we just thought that was a good description of recognizing those little nudges.
And it's a good reminder. Sometimes we don't have the awareness of it. Sometimes we are impacting people around us in profound ways and we don't even know it. It makes me think of people from my past that maybe they're not even president. Maybe they're not even present in my life anymore, but at the time, like I have this one gentleman who I went to acupuncture school with, and he was decades older, like multiple decades older than everybody else in our entering class. And, you know, because we were college, you know, this was grad school, so we were a little bit older, but, you know, there's parties after class and parties on the weekends and stuff. And it was sort of like one of those things where it was always everyone's invited. But at these events, he would always just be kind of off by himself. And I thought he was hilarious. He reminded me of George Costanza. And he was hilarious. He's this older guy, but I really enjoyed his company. So like all the cool kids are over here doing what they're doing, doing college kid things, and this guy would be kind of off by himself, and I would go sit with him and talk with him for hours. It wasn't for any reason. It wasn't like I felt sorry for him and I was pitying him and giving him attention for that reason. I enjoyed his presence, and we talked about spirituality, and we talked about connection with source. We talked about God. We talked about all kinds of things that to me was just random conversation with a person I enjoyed. And I didn't even find out until we had graduated, we moved on with our lives. I lost touch with him for over a decade. And he reached out to me on Facebook a couple of years ago to express how supportive and transformative that experience was for him. He was like, I felt so alone. I felt like a fish out of water, that I didn't belong with the rest of the group. And your presence helped me so much. He said, you introduced me to God. And I was like, I did?
You had no idea, did you?
I was just talking about woo-woo stuff.
I mean, no idea.
You know, I was just talking about spirituality in my own way. Like I wasn't trying to preach, or I wasn't even trying to teach. I was just talking.
You're just being yourself.
And he was like, you introduced me to spirit. You helped me learn how to get in touch with my soul. You helped me learn how to go inward. He was like, that brief period of life, just for those few years, he was like, you have no idea how transformative that was for me. And I've never forgotten about you. You popped into my mind frequently over the years. And I just wanted to know that I just think the world of you. I think you're a wonderful person. And I'm like, you do? You did? Like,
isn't that beautiful?
No idea.
Didn't you feel so much like, I don't know, just so much gratitude, right? For being able to be that bright spot in his life for however long that lasted. And
it's just a good reminder. It's a reminder, first of all, to always be aware that we have no idea what another person is experiencing. We've all heard the saying, everybody is dealing with their with different battles. Be kind.
Yeah.
So it's a reminder to always be mindful of that you don't know what's going on behind someone's eyes. You don't know what's going on, what they're feeling in any given moment. You don't know the story. When somebody's acting a fool out in public, there's probably something really, really, really heavy behind all of that. Try not to judge. But it's also a reminder, like when you feel those nudges, like in my case, it was just a nudge to go talk to this guy who was otherwise by himself. I didn't have any justification for it. I just did it. But it's a reminder. Sometimes those don't ignore the nudges.
Don't ignore the nudges.
They could, you're a nudge that to us feels totally benign. It doesn't feel like it's anything of significance at all whatsoever. Could be profoundly life altering for the other person.
Absolutely. I've got I say similar story, but it ties into the divine appointment. But quickly, I had a friend that we used to work together. We were coworkers. Long story short, we worked together for years and we became very close. And then her life circumstances, she quit that job and she got married, remarried, and it wasn't until and so we actually separated for a while. We because we weren't working together anymore because she was married now, and we all had our own lives. We were not friends for a couple of years, and then out of the blue, and she reached out because she had just encountered a very abusive situation with her current husband at the time, and had also dealt with an abusive relationship, not physically like her, but mentally and emotionally and verbally. And so she reached out of nowhere and like messaged me, and she's like, "Hey, I'm really struggling. Like, I don't know who else to talk to." And since then, for this past year, we have reconnected. And it's almost like we divinely were meant to reconnect our lives because we've both had these struggles with these, abusive type relationships. And we were able to, foster this friendship again that has turned so beautiful because we've both been able to be a support system for each other.
Yeah.
To me, that's divinely guided. And so I could be my most authentic, vulnerable self with her. She knows she's been there. She knows what it feels like to go through this. And so nice to be able to talk to somebody that understands what I just went through, what I'm going through. And again, those connections are just, I feel like, divinely planted.
It's the timing.
It's the timing.
Yeah. It's almost like you guys needed to fall out of touch for a little bit and have the mutual experiences that create the reference points. Correct. So that when you come back together, you can be of support to one another.
And that's exactly what we've been. And that's been a beautiful divine appointment for me in my life.
I love it. I love it.
So anyway, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you loved it as much as we enjoyed talking about it. And if you have any comments, please give us, subscribe. We try to put new content out every week. And so you never know what you're going to get on the live at all.
And the best way to support us is just hit the button right now. Takes 2 seconds. Doesn't cost you a dime. Hit the little button. Yeah. That's all you got to do. Best way to support us. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.